Welcome back, everyone. We are here for another episode of Mondays with Micah. I am switching things up. I'm bringing a man on the show, y'all. I'm bringing a male on the show. He is not a widower, but this man here has saved me from crisis twice now, and there's more work to be done. Yes, the work on my car. Let's just get into it. Has been my car is getting older. It's almost 9 years old. And guess what? We have to do maintenance on our cars. And my husband's not here to take the car to do all those things. So I kind of have to trust the process. And I'm thankful that I really believe that the Holy Spirit gives us, women especially, this intuition to say, I think we should get that checked out.
Absolutely.
And I am thankful that in the month of January, I got my car checked out because Chase here was like, this is a serious problem you have. And then I get to tell him, this is where the Lord protects the widow, because I probably should have been stranded or any other thing.
Or worse.
Or the car blow up, actually. So I want to bring somebody on here that does car repair. And he's going to explain how he got into the car. Is the car repair business? Is that the right term?
Yeah.
What are you, auto mechanic?
Technician.
He's a technician. Okay, so I don't even know the terminology, but I'm here to help y'all find the trusted people in our community that can fix things. When we have a problem that's going to keep us stranded. And so I just want to give you a little bit of my own personal testimony of how the Lord can line things up. And then there's good people that probably had to push some people in their schedule to fit me in because I was without a car. No idea that was going to happen. So this is Chase Graves. For those who don't know him, he has an auto shop in Newsome's, and you opened that
in September.
So it's not even been a year that he is the proud owner of an auto shop. That shop had been there before. For how long?
The building was actually built in the 50s, so it's traded many hands.
And it's now, and so that's been a service in the Newsome's area in different forms.
Yes,
is what you're saying. Was it a car shop place before you?
So originally, yes, it was, and then it moved over to a small engine repair shop, lawnmowers, tractors, stuff like that. And now it's Chase's Auto Repair.
And I need you to tell the listener, what type of work do you do?
So I do pretty much anything you can think of. As of right now, we're just getting started. So there's, some pieces of equipment that I don't have yet. I'm capable of doing these things, just don't have the equipment to do it. Cannot do alignments. Hoping to be able to do state inspections by the end of February. I am a licensed state inspector, so that's not an issue. It's just getting the building certified, some equipment I have to have, and you know, I do diagnostics, electrical, check engine lights, steering, suspension, exhaust work. I mean, you name it, we pretty much do it.
So back in, I don't know what month it was, maybe September, but anyway, what was my first problem?
So your first issue, I actually noticed it not at the shop. I think you were somewhere. I think it was at Rock.
Basketball game or
Yeah,
something, I think.
and I
Or
noticed
soccer.
your radiator fan was going nuts, and I've
Oh,
seen it
really?
before.
Mhm.
It ended up being a thermostat and a coolant temperature sensor, which is common on those vehicles. I've done it before. Typically, it's about I think it was like a $1,400 to $1,600 estimate, I believe.
Mhm.
We were able to, get it knocked out for, I think, half
Maybe seven or
half the
something.
cost.
Mhm. Mhm.
So you just got to be careful where you go. I mean, there's a lot of places that will take advantage, and
Mhm.
I'm not in it for that.
Mhm.
I'm in it just to make a name and leave a legacy. Especially for the kids,
Mhm.
and hopefully they'll one day pick it up and roll with it.
And so let me just explain a little bit so that you know what this looked like and how it got here. So I've had it happen before, where you hear this fan running. You hear the fan running in the front of the vehicle, not on the inside, on the outside. And on our dashboard, beside the the speedometer, is the temperature.
The temperature gauge.
Thank you. The temperature gauge, which you see that H and you see that C. Well, mine was staying on
Cold.
C.
Yep.
And therefore it wasn't right. It wasn't regulating itself, and that was kicking the fan on.
So the car went into, basically the computer was confused on if the engine was hot or cold. It didn't know because the temperature sensor wasn't reading correctly, which caused your AC to not work.
Yep, in my car.
Yes. So the car was never getting up to normal operating temperature. It was going into limp mode. It's just causing issues. So
which was it was kind of reading it in a way to say, hey, the car's going to overheat. We've got to run some stuff.
right.
Which wasn't the case, but that's where it was reading wrong. And it was affecting me because we weren't getting the pressure of the AC or the cooling of the AC. I'm pretty sure. And as most people, I don't know about you, but usually it's like if it's manageable, we'll kind of kick the can down the road. Okay, how far can you go? I know many people who have either AC not working or their heat not working, and they just deal. And that can happen, but this is not something you want to keep happening. You don't want to burn your fan or make it do something. And to the point that, okay, so he heard it. I'm not having a conversation with them. These guys are picking up stuff as they're around. And I'm thankful for that. It doesn't mean that they're watching everybody who goes around, but helpful people are, let me say it this way. I do not believe Chase was trying to find business by looking for a problem to get my business. Okay. Absolutely. That's not what happened. He didn't solicit me. However, literally, I think I already had a call into you in Pete Twisdale. If y'all remember me having him on the show, he called me and he said, your car isn't right. Something's going on. I said, thank you. He also was looking out for the widow, and I already had an appointment in with him. I said, it's already scheduled. So all I'm telling you is the timing of, I was already feeling something about it. And then he heard it while I was in the carpool line, because Pete's son goes to the school where my kids go. His family also goes there, and this is a good thing. We have people in the body of Christ who have other skills that I don't have, don't want to learn how to have, to be honest. So we need to have people to come in and help and to stand in these areas. And like he said, the value of the repair has this range. And I keep telling him we need a lower number than that. And he could say, well, this is my costs, take it or leave it, go find other business. And he did not do that, y'all. So for the widow listening, if you have had problems where you felt you overpaid for something kind of basic, or you went in for one problem and they told you you had 3 others, to upsell you, we'll call it here in the business world, it's not that those things didn't need to be done, but were they causing a problem to need to be done? Absolutely not, 9 times out of 10. And he's, in that first repair, showed me some other issues with my radiator and
your AC condenser.
Okay, so I have a pending problem that is, I've had a slow leak with my AC and coolant, and he pretty much figured out probably why that is a problem. Is it enough of a problem for me to pay for it today? No. But he said, please do this year. Like, he was being kind and not pushy about it, saying like, you can kick this can a little bit, but just know that it's been rubbing on each other. These things are not supposed to be touching like that. You've hit something, or impact has happened. And so anyway, I'm just letting you know, in the last 6 months, I've been in his shop twice, did not expect that to be. However, I did expect that after I hit over 150,000 miles, some maintenance was going to need to happen. So last year, Pete put new tires on. by the fall, I'm running over a drill bit. Y'all saw that post. That shook me pretty deeply. I had a drill bit in my tire for 6 days, drove all over hours from here, and it did not pop. He said he believes it's because it was new tires, so there was more tread, and the way that it went in. So I'm just telling you, y'all, that is God's covering and protection on my life, that I am not being stranded on the side of the road. I do play it a little bit risky because I do not have AAA and I have not been stranded on the side of the road. So my track record for success is literally 100%. 100%. And I don't know if it's the angels or who's keeping me safe on the road. And the only time I ran out of gas, I was a block from my parents' house. And I'm thankful for these digital computers that now tell you, hey, you're getting pretty low, and there's usually a little bit of a threshold there. So then the end of this year, no, it was this year. We're into 2026, y'all. I was noticing this also months. This is months. This is happening that I started hearing this flapping sound kind of when I turn the car on. When it first ignites, that there's this flutter, which is not typically a sound you should hear. And it seemed like it was getting louder. And I'm like, I need to look into this. And so a couple of weeks ago, I sent Chase a video to say, is this a problem? And he's like,
Absolutely.
Yes, that is not a sound I want to hear. You need to get your car here ASAP. And you're going to have to leave it here. And I'm like, well, I don't have another car, and you have a car. And, so by the grace of God, my mother-in-law was out of town, and her car was just sitting at her house. And I sent her a text. I'm like, hey, I'm having a car problem. Chase says I have to fix this now, and I have to leave the car there, and it could take multiple days. It did take multiple days, and she wasn't coming back till Thursday. And I'm excited to say that she said absolutely. So I was able to not inconvenience anyone. Let me just say that. I did have to ask you widows listening up. I had to ask for help, and thankfully the people all said yes. But we need to trust the process, that sometimes the timing isn't as stressful or more maneuvering.
It's what you make it.
And then I get to testify to the man how this thing is shaken down. I'm like, do you see this, sir? I just need to give an account of how all this lined up in a short fashion. Yes, Micah is in the business of solving problems quickly so that we can move on with our lives.
As am I.
And so business talk is like, let's get down to brass tacks. How much is this going to cost? He ran the numbers for me. I wasn't super happy with the results, but hey, I need this car to run. So we got to do what we got to do. Not even 2 hours later, this man calls me back and said, I've got an idea. So how much was this estimate? Oh, tell him what the problem actually was.
Okay, so long story short, she had a severe exhaust leak. Both of her catalytic converters, so her exhaust manifolds on her particular vehicle are actually part of her catalytic converters. We all know converters are very expensive. So I looked into the price of the converters. I looked into the aftermarket ones, which were considerably cheaper, but unfortunately, when you get aftermarket parts, there's no warranty, they don't last as long, and then you're going to end up spending the same amount of money you would originally on
Again,
the OE parts. So I look into the OE parts. The OE parts were upwards of $2,500 just for the parts. That's not including the labor and all the time and taking them out, replacing them, and so we were kind of at a crossroads. She definitely wanted to have it fixed. I told her it was very serious. I mean, when you have that much heat coming out of a crack directly out of your engine, it can actually cause things to melt, things to catch on fire while you're going down the road. Your car could burn down on 58. Not to mention the exhaust is actually getting into the cab of the vehicle, which we all know carbon monoxide is deadly. It can actually kill you, being in an enclosed space with no airflow and you have exhaust seeping inside your vehicle. That's why your exhaust goes to the back of the vehicle so it can exit out from underneath the vehicle and it does not get into the cab. And being having kids are riding in the car.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's dangerous. So I
It's not
expressed
safe.
to her it's something that needed to be done ASAP or do not drive the car.
Right.
And she said, let's just go ahead and let's do the aftermarket ones. It is what it is. And I was getting ready to order them, and the Holy Spirit said, hold on, just wait a second, let's think about this.
Mm.
And I thought about it, and I called her back and said, look, I said, let's try to fix them. Let's just try to fix them. And that is the difference between a mechanic and a technician.
Thank you.
Mechanics, they just replace things. Technicians, we fix things. So if it's something that can be fixed without necessarily replacing it, I would rather do that. I always err on the side of caution. If it's not fixed, don't. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Right.
So, long story short,
because I had a major crack. So he sends me these pictures. I'm like, oh my gosh. You don't know what you don't know, guys. And what they say, once you've seen, you can't unsee. Now I've been driving around with cracks, and he said there was impact. A year earlier, I had kind of been sideswiped leaving Busch Gardens, and it dented the side of the left side of my car, the driver's door, and the piece that goes over the tire. And so he said, you had some kind of impact for it to crack something.
Absolutely.
So whether it was a hairline fracture, let's call it, but over the last year due to driving it, wear and tear, that got larger. I believe, so that's a year and a half's time almost of progressively getting worse. It wasn't caught, is what I'm telling you. We didn't catch it in the insurance claim because we went with the superficial issues that we saw on the side of the vehicle. Did they go underneath the vehicle to see if there was anything else? Evidently not. And that's a learning curve for me in the future, that if there's any kind of collision situation that I'm going to ask, I need you to look under the car too, not just what you think you see. We need to get a more comprehensive diagnosis or assessment on the car. And so that's me learning, because I've not dealt with this before. Thankfully, again, this has been a good car. And so he was able to call me and say, my neighbor is a welder, and where your crack is, I think we can fix this. And you didn't have any emergency lights coming on, engine repair or whatever, those maintenance lights that come on in the car. It wasn't to that point. So back to my point, y'all, that this sensation said you need to get this looked at. And part of my soapbox here on this channel is, when in doubt, get it checked out. That has to do with our cars. That has to do with our physical body, that when there's a concern, do not delay it, because I don't know how close I was to any one of those scenarios happening to me. And the only person to blame is really myself. We have to take ownership of the things that he's given us to steward. And for that, for me, I have a lot to steward with being a single parent. And I need a functioning car at all times as a real estate agent, but also to shuffle our children to every sports event it seems that they have daily.
Every day.
So it's not that we're using our car once a day, we're using it 14 different places in a day. So it's critical to have this. But for someone to call me with a 2,500 estimate, and less than 2 hours later, he calls me back. He said, I think we've got another option. And the stress just like, you can, like, oh my gosh, like, you can't make this stuff up. Like, I'm not begging the man for anything, but then he couldn't let it up. Whatever. So that's God's grace, y'all, on my life, his favor, the provision to decrease the situation and take a value that some may say, well, I want the best, get whatever you need. And I believe that, okay? There are good, better, best in the car industry. You got
Absolutely.
The low grade, you got the mid grade, you got the high grade. Do they all get you from point A to point B? Yes, they do. Is there a different feeling being in that luxury car versus that little hoopty car?
Absolutely.
There is, okay? So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you liking the nicer things and keeping your car well maintained. But I think I was really at a threshold that I didn't know I was as close to. And in 2 days, he's got my car fixed. All of a sudden, it's sounding quieter again when I'm driving it. Guess what? We're not breathing in any secondhand exhaust. And the kids had said to me, it smells bad in here, but it didn't fully smell like gas. So I couldn't figure it out.
Were they experiencing any headaches or anything like
Not
that?
that I know of,
Yeah.
no. So that's scary, y'all. That was kind of scary. And so I had my mother-in-law's car. This was all on a Monday. So he's calling me. He's telling me what's going on. I had to call my friend Holly Ledbetter. I said, are you coming into Franklin? Are you in Newsom? She lives 2 blocks from the man's shop. She said, actually, I'm running my kids home. I said, I'm coming right now. She was able to bring me back into town. The timing was literally like by a 5-minute window of being able to get there in time for her to get me back. We pull up, we get the car, get someone else to, I got back to school, got back in time to pick up my kids from school. Then 2 days later, I'm able to get my other friend, Batanya, to drive me out there to get my car. She picked up my daughter because I was going to be 5 minutes late and pull into my mother-in-law's driveway at the exact same time that she pulls back in from her trip.
Amazing.
Literally, we're pulling into the driveway at the same time. You cannot, like, this is, I'm just telling you, y'all, that these can be the frustrating moments in our life, but I'm hoping you're hearing here the goodness of God in the midst of our daily frustrations. And in that quick, things start moving. And that bill was $500, y'all. He dropped that $2,000 paying for labor. He had to take the converters off, take it to the guy that did the welding, pay for his labor, pay for their labor. No harm, no foul. Hey, if it gets me 2 more years, praise God. And so I just was like, Chase, I already wanted to get him on here due to the first crisis. Once we had a second crisis in 6 months, I'm like, get to my house because I need the widows to know that this doesn't have to be stressful. There's options. I could have said, that's cool, and I appreciate you trying to get the numbers down. I don't feel safe with these converters anymore. Go for it. But winter is my slow season, y'all, in real estate. And so I was kind of like, let's stay conservative right now. I really don't want to spend it on this. And Chase doesn't know this, but since we had that conversation, I just have to give a testimony. And I typically don't talk about these kind of things because, money can be awkward to talk about. And sometimes when you're sharing blessing, it could be perceived as boasting or something like that. But here on this channel, and for my personal testimony, and I feel like part of what the Lord has called me to do is to call out the goodness of God, the goodness and the kindness. I'm telling you, who cares about the widow? I told him on the phone, I said, look, dude, this ain't gonna always happen for everybody, but I just need to take an account here of what you saw and what you witnessed right here. But back in December, I have been putting something off to discover with my children. So most of you know, my husband passed of what we would say a heart condition. Some call it a heart attack. I would say a heart aneurysm. The Widowmaker is what they diagnosed it as. I did not do an autopsy. Didn't really want him to be cut into, to be honest. He was gone, and so I don't really need to always know the answers of why he was gone. All that to say, there was some things brought to my attention about tall, lanky people. And this was through seeing another doctor, a chiropractor, to be honest, that brought to my attention last year. about this syndrome called the Marfan syndrome, and that is a connective tissue disorder that affects about 1 in 5,000 kids. So I didn't really think that was our odds, but my son turned 16 this month, and I felt that it was necessary for me to take my kids who've never complained of any heart issues to get an EKG and a echo. And they actually did some lab work to find out if they have a cholesterol issue. And what is Marfan's? There is some type of genetic testing for it. I'm thankful that the cardiologist said he did not see the signs to refer for genetic testing. I also want to say as a mother that I did not feel an alarm inside myself to say, you must do this. But there was, I want to say, I don't want to fully say doubt, but I needed to know with facts, not just a hopeful thinking that my kids are perfect. Because we just all aren't. None of us really are, okay? And we can say, well, they seem fine.
Yeah.
We
kind of like the car.
Yeah,
It seemed fine.
It seemed fine. Exactly. Things started to get a little off, but hey, I can identify with that too. So with that being said, we get there, and I have a different type of insurance because of the type of real estate that I do, and they would consider this elective. Okay, so there wasn't a major need. It did take a referral. We got a referral. We got in with the doctor that our local pediatrician asked for. I had to wait for it, and I took my kids in December to have these done. And I didn't walk in fully sick to my stomach, to be honest. So what I'm trying to say is I wasn't going in looking for a problem. I was going in to confirm we didn't have a problem.
Maintenance.
Exactly. And so because I did not really have heart history on my husband from his medical history, we just don't always know. So back to the Marfans, the 3 areas that it affects is your skeletal. People deal with a curvature of the spine. What is that called?
Scoliosis.
Thank you. Scoliosis, they deal with that. There is eye issues, which has to do with the lens, your cataract, basically. The connective tissue disorder basically pulls things from. So you think with tall, lanky people, it's like, I just visualize it like the heart can only go so far. It's getting compromised because it's having to reach further to work through this body. And so the eyes, the skeletal, and the heart are the 3 areas, tall tale signs to find out if there is a problem, actually. And I had already been to the chiropractor. That's how this thing started. She did not say he had scoliosis. We went to the eye doctors in September, both of them perfect vision. Then we went to the heart doctor. And before we left that day, he said, well, let me just let you know, we didn't find anything. I feel like your husband may have had a cholesterol issue, and that was what took him out. So we're going to run some labs. Perfect. They came back perfect. Now I'll tell you that this was thousands of dollars for me to do this. And I just want to say that in my childhood, if there would have been something elective that was going to cost thousands for my parents to pay for, they probably wouldn't have done it. Not because the money wasn't there.
Right.
It's not that they don't care to do it, but the money wasn't there to do it. And I have learned that you have to do it whether the money's there or not, and trust the process. This past week, I called CHKD to find out how much I owed left. I had another family member ask me what the cost was, and they said, I want to contribute. I wasn't expecting that ask, and I gave an honest answer. It was more than they were expecting it to be. This past week, I received over a $2,000 check of a reimbursement from overpayment from CHKD.
Wow.
The same day that I text this family member, you're not going to believe the provision of the Lord. She said, when did this happen? I said, like, I just got the mail. And the funny thing was that I was going to drop off something for a friend, and I was leaving to go out of town to lead worship with some friends of mine at a church in OBX. And I had packed my car up, and this thought hit me: you need to go back and get your Bible. You forgot your bag with your Bible, and you were going to, have some quiet time without my kids. So I want to make time for the Father when I have extra time. And in the coming back, so I went out to do one thing, came back in, dropped the thing off, came back. I said, I'm going to get my mail. I saw the person drive by. That's when I found the check. So if I wouldn't have come back to get my Bible, I wouldn't have found that check until Friday. Mm-hmm. And then I was able to call the phone number on the check to verify what was this. Because I don't know about you, but I haven't gotten a refund from a hospital before, okay? 2 months later, almost, to getting it, and they said, we looked at your account, saw that you were cash pay, and even though we gave you a 30% discount at the day of appointment, they looked at your information, and most hopefully because they saw that there wouldn't be future appointments. They didn't say that was the reason. They said, we discounted you further, to the point that they refunded me money. And then when I talked to this family member, they said, the amount that you got was the amount that I was going to give as well. So just know that within 2 months' time, in 1 week, thousands of dollars has come into my account without me asking for it. And that is a testimony to not doubt the Father. Amen. I wasn't asking him to reimburse it. I had already decided they were worth the investment, and I was going to do it. And then in the process, I got 2/3 of it back. I got 2/3 of it back, y'all. And I mean, it just does something to you. It just does something to you, because when your back's against the wall sometimes, and the week that happened, I was pretty down that week. Like, I can't even remember what all happened. It was like multiple things in 1 week that was a little just too much. By Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, I wasn't well. I was like crying by the end of the day. By Thursday, I'm like, we just, it's over. Like, this whole ball of junk, it's all cleared up. This didn't happen. That did happen. No harm. We got through it. We get through it. And sometimes we do have a pity party. But here at the end of January, I got to go hang out with some friends and get paid to worship. I mean, that's crazy. I'm like, you get to go to the beach and hang out, and you get paid to do that. I'm like, man, we're having a great day. And I got good food, so I was like really turned up about this whole thing. And then here we are at the end of January. This is when you get to we get our it's time to prepare for taxes. And y'all, you know that this is a 501c3. It's my responsibility to be a good steward of the funds that we are received. And I was blown away when I got to reflect and look at the facts of the personal donations that has come into the Widow Walk. There are those who are giving monthly, y'all. We have those giving $20 a month. We have those giving $50 a month. We have those giving $100 a month. That adds up. That adds up. And we are having our dinner. We would have just had it. By the time this video comes out, we would have just had our second annual Walk of Love gathering. We're believing for 100 widows and widowers. We already have 70 by the time I'm recording this video, but we are preparing for 100 of you to become and blessed on Valentine's, the end of February, to be your Valentine's dinner. Because we want you to be our Valentine. We are inviting you to be our Valentine, and you have said yes. And so that is exciting. But I'm just here to tell you that the Lord is providing for us to continue to celebrate you. That's what I got to see this past week. Not only did I get to see what happened in 2025, but funds came in at the beginning of 2026.
Miracles.
There will be miracles is our theme at our church this year. And this story here is there's multiple miracles weaved in it. There's miracles that he didn't take advantage of me. There's miracles that I didn't get stranded on the side of the road. There's miracles that he paused and didn't get greedy and say, look, there's more money I can take from her, and call me back and didn't make as much money. So he's got bills too. And so, but I have to trust that when people do the right thing and follow through on those thoughts, there's going to be back provision.
Absolutely.
And I used to live in a way that I had my fists closed because a commission was up to me.
Yep.
And there were times in my real estate career at the closing table that the numbers weren't lining up. And the seller would look at me and say, are you willing to cut your commission? And I will tell you that it bothered me. It bothered me because it felt like I was getting discounted for something that wasn't my fault most of the time. But there was a rule in real estate that some funds are better than no funds. Our job is to close the deal at whatever the cost. And if the cost is on us, then the cost is on us. And I didn't like that. And as the years passed, and really after my husband passed, the Lord really showed me that you didn't trust me for the provision. It's up to Micah to pay those bills. It's Micah's fault if she didn't follow through. And I didn't realize that in our generosity to open up that hand and say, yeah, that didn't feel good, but you know what? We want to make this an easy process. We're not going to fight nickel and dime stuff here. I'm covering it. I'm not going to be stingy about all of this, and trust it that there's not two other closings on the other side of that. Yes. This is how entrepreneurs and business owners have to trust the process. We can get really tight about a lot of things and feel like it's on us because our reputation's on the line.
Absolutely.
You screw up 5 people, more than 5 people are going to know about it. And you do a good job, less people tell that you do good than when you do bad. The bad stories go way more, spread way more in the rumor gossip train than any of the good stories. And here at the Widow Walk, we're here about the good stories. We're here to bring in the God stories because I feel like he doesn't get enough credit for the good stories. And we take the credit for the good stories. You did that. Chase did that. Chase saved the day. Chase can be the hero here. But he said it in his time that he felt a check and he made a call. These are our everyday choices, y'all. He could have ignored it. And I'm telling you, that's grace. Like, I felt grace. Okay. It eased the situation for my paycheck. For all of it. And what happens? I'm more willing to work on the other parts of this car because we want to keep this car running. And I don't have to feel insecure that he's trying to upsell me on, this is now a problem. You could be very dramatic. You could be acting right now. They're acting. How can I trust? I don't know you that well. Why aren't you lying to me right now? I'm just saying, for people in the business world, if you've been taken advantage of, you don't trust the next person.
Right.
In a different category of that. It's harder to trust when you've been taken advantage of. And that's real.
Yes.
That's real. And I hear you folks. I have heard you widows say it happened to you. Or as a woman, you went in there and you felt like they look at you stupid and that they see you as a dollar sign. and you feel taken advantage of.
Unfortunately, most of the time, that gut feeling is right.
And I said, Chase, do you have any stories where you saw this? I mean, you've been in different maintenance jobs.
I've been in this industry for about 25 years. I worked at the dealership for 10 of it, and I will tell you that working at the dealership for me, it was a dark cloud.
Mm,
And unfortunately, that cloud seemed to started following me home.
mm,
It was just not. It was a nasty. It's a nasty business when it comes to people's vehicles because we need them. We have to have them.
yep,
Especially people with kids and jobs and
yep.
you name it. I mean, got to get to the grocery store
Mhm.
and
We're at your disposal.
yeah, I mean, really, and I just tend to, it bothers me when I see a problem that can be easily fixed and instead that problem gets turned into a dumpster fire and now
Exactly.
all of a sudden where it's been a crazy journey as far as seeing some of the things that I've seen. I mean, you go into the dealership and ask for wiper blades and you come out, your bill's $150 for two wiper blades. That's insane. I don't charge to put wiper blades on your car. I just don't. It takes me 2 seconds. There's no point in charging for something like that. I'd rather, anytime I have the chance to try to bless someone, I do it because I want to help. I don't do it because I want that person to go and go, oh, so and so, they saved me, and
Yep.
I don't need that.
Yep.
Um, you know, the man upstairs is watching over, and he knows all that he needs to know, and he's put me in this situation to be able to do these things,
Exactly.
and he's given me the talent to, you know, he blessed me with a shop.
That's right.
I never saw coming. It was a dream of mine for 10 plus years. And I prayed about it, prayed about it, prayed about it. And it just did not happen. And I kept questioning, why won't this happen for me?
Mm,
Did I do something wrong?
mm,
Is it me? Am I
mm.
not living correct?
It's good.
And lo and behold, things started happening. And like she said earlier, when it happens quick.
Quick.
I went from finding a shop that these people own that were a blessing as well to us, the Porters. They blessed us with this building. They entrusted me to take over this building that is a family heirloom of theirs that they are very attached to. And all of a sudden, I have a fully operational business. I've been open for almost 5 months, I think. And it's been great. I work by myself. My wife does come up and she helps during the week when the kids don't have sports and other things going on, and that's a blessing too. My wife gets to have those moments with our kids.
Yep.
And the things that a lot of people take for granted, she gets to live that every day, and it can be stressful, but it's all in what you make it, and God is good.
And it is a little bit more of a faith living. It's a faith led living because you don't have that guaranteed check.
No, you don't.
And there are months when it's raining, and there's months when it's a famine, feast or famine, they like to say in these types of businesses. It's heavy, and you can barely keep up with the business, and then it dries up. And then you have to trust, like, is this drying up? Like he's saying, he starts going introspective. What have we done wrong that we're not getting the business? And this time of year is my slow time. But I felt like the real estate market was not going to open back up to me till March. And why is that significant? Because it allowed me here in January to finish my real estate school for my North Carolina license. Since October, I have been doing those classes. They give you 18 months. They call it a provisional license. I had to apply. I had to do the work to do those things to get the information from Virginia State to show proof that I have been an active agent, submit that to North Carolina, find out what it took, research different online courses, pick one by the grace of God. It was awesome. I had an amazing teacher, and I had to do 90 hours of classwork and 3 tests, and I haven't had to do tests like that in years to do what they call the post licensure to get it. So that's all I had to do. I did not have to go through the typical real estate test exam, they call it. I did that when I became a real estate agent. Literally, y'all, this year will be 22 years ago. I have been selling real estate for 22 daggone years, my whole adult career. And I for sure was getting out of it when this nonprofit found me. And then I sat down with the Lord and He said, I know. We're integrating. You're going to start including this when you're having conversations. Yes, this nonprofit is for a resource here in this community to gather the widows and widowers together. But guess what? They have other needs.
Absolutely.
Just like car. The car is one of the needs that the widows have and the widowers. Maybe they're better at knowing who to go to. Maybe they can do the repairs themselves. But so I have been able to sell to list houses for widows, mainly. Over the last 2 years, more of my listings have been estates than anything else. And the beautiful thing about that, and again, I was not expecting this to be about money per se, but I just have to continue to share. And someone asked me, how are you creating the funds to do what we're doing this dinner that we just had that is free to the widow and widower. That costs thousands of dollars, Chase, to host a dinner. And I like to say with an elevated dinner palette. We are not doing a barbecue. We are doing a sit down plated meal for our widows and widowers to lavish on you. And that costs thousands of dollars to do. And last year, as we walked around, they said, why are you not charging? What? Who's paying for this? Like they were expecting less.
I think when you stop putting money on a pedestal and you replace that money on the pedestal with the Holy Spirit, I think that's when the Holy Spirit provides, and it's God's time. It's not our time.
That's it.
And like I said earlier, I'm a piggyback on it, just like she said with the real estate thing. For me, praying for years and years and years and it not coming true, God knew I wasn't ready.
That's it.
He knew I was not ready to run a business and be able to flourish and sustain it and be helpful.
That's right.
And he molded me into what he needed me to be.
That's good.
And when I submitted, things happened. Boom.
And that's his kindness, Chase. Absolutely. That's his kindness, because we don't want to get in over our heads. And there's times that we feel that we're getting close and something happens. And we're calling out. I don't know about you, but I'm calling on his help a little bit more than I had to, because I'm walking a little further out than I used to. That little toe deep, getting, the little kids getting to the water to the first time, to the ocean. Some kids just go full throttle. Okay, I've seen that. But then there's those that kind of inching, like, okay, this isn't too, maybe I'll go knee deep, Whoa, those waves are a little bit more than I thought when I got tumbled. And then they're like, I don't know if I like the ocean actually, because it's can get kind of nasty. This is the same thing in our businesses sometimes. Like, how far can we go before we hit a wall? How far can we go before we make a mistake? Guess what? We're making mistakes and we're learning from those mistakes and we're trying to be better the next time. And each piece matures us and we learn, like, okay, that worked really well. I like that process. Maybe we'll keep that. And because I'm not doing something that I have a handbook for.
As do I. First business, so this is a learning curve.
He has to do the billing side of it. He has to do the parts side of it. He has to do the customer service side of it. He has to schedule the appointments and allocate the right amount of time for these different things. There's a lot of back office things to do to make it look smooth and like this is basic. Like, people just in and out, it's casual. I would say you probably don't think it's casual, but for those that just drop their car off and pick it back up, that feels pretty casual.
Right.
Hey,
wow, that was great.
That was awesome. Yeah. Like, man, it wasn't working. It's working. Cool. We keep on keeping on. So we have kept you here for almost 50 minutes. We're going to be linking his business below, their contact information, some of his specialties. And like I said, I had very different issues, and he crushed it both times. And I'm in the business of working with people that get the job done and meet and exceed that. I didn't even have an expectation, but somehow he exceeded it. So I'm like, whoa, like this is possible. So when you're not the one who's dealing with the cars, you really don't get to be a part of that side of it. And so there's good people in this community looking out for you. We're going to start building our directory of assistants. It's something we have on our website that has not been filled out, actually, to kind of have recommended people. And I just feel like we can do that. It's not that I'm picking one over the other. I'm putting who has helped me. Okay, we're going to put it like that. And it doesn't mean I won't go to the others, but I've been drawn to these places and been very satisfied. So here in the wintertime is a good time to get your car maintenance, to start working on some of those things. And just because you've gotten a quote and now you're just sitting on it, go to Chase and tell him what's going on and let him give you a second quote. It could
Absolutely.
be half or more different, and you are stressing over it because you don't have the funds, and it may be because it's the wrong person, and that's why you paused. You thought it was about the money not being there,
Right.
but really it's because you're supposed to work with somebody else.
Love it.
Stay tuned. Next month we will be crossing into March, y'all. That is crazy. It is time to get back into the real estate. If you know of someone thinking about putting their house on the market in Virginia or North Carolina, y'all, I would love to be a part of your story. I would love to be able to help facilitate transition. I think that's kind of my specialty. When people need a change, I like it. I like helping people change their point of view, change their atmosphere from one neighborhood to another, change states if that is it. If you're looking for a retirement community, I'm here to help you with that. If you're looking for a vacation home, I would absolutely love to help you with that, and continue to build and grow the territory of what the WW agency stands for. And we are continuously I'm getting amazing testimonials from my clients, y'all. And so Micah's doing things different. Once she hit that 20-year mark, she's not doing business as usual, meaning that it's very transactional. Get the deal done, move on to the next. Get the deal done, move on to the next. I'm now remembering that you're a person. You have a family. And if we function as a business and somehow can work the family component into it, I'm telling you, the probability of referral is going to increase. The probability of people remembering you because you didn't feel like a number to them, but a person, that they didn't only remember you, they actually looked out for you and found a better deal for you than the others around town. Chase isn't a shark, y'all. And I'm here to say that. And he didn't pitch that to me. So I'm pitching that because I'm going to say it because of what I have experienced. He had opportunity to upsell every problem that I had. And he called back to say, I don't feel comfortable with you doing that. And I was able to say thank you, and I received your recommendation to go with this, and we're going to trust that that's really all I needed the whole time. And I'm thankful that there's things that sometimes do need replaced, and sometimes they just need repaired, just like us. There's parts of us that need repair, and there's parts of us who get a hip replacement, that get a knee replacement. There's actual parts that we do need to get replaced. But
that being said, maintenance, when it
you.
comes to your body, your car, your house, maintenance is very important. Do your maintenance. You have to stay on top of it. It might cost a little bit up front.
Yep.
It's gonna save you a ton of money
on the back end. It's going to save you. So when we get those tires rotated, when we get the oil changed, when we're supposed to, all of that is allowing the oils and I can't even get all into it. See, I'm already limited. I'm stopping. It's making the junk inside not work harder because we're allowing more dirt and particles to get inside all of the pumps that are going on. We want our body to run as long as it can. What we put in it affects the output. The input affects the output, and that's the same in the car maintenance. And yes, there is people who run their tires bald, as they like to say, and they kind of get themselves in trouble.
Absolutely.
You don't have the threshold you thought you had, and the Lord will provide. I'm telling you.
And if it is a money thing, as far as car repairs go,
Mm.
I'm just going to put this out there. I do offer a
Maintenance plan.
yeah, it's a maintenance plan where any repairs that you do, you can actually go and you can get a credit limit.
Mm-hmm.
And if you apply for it, you don't get it. It doesn't affect your credit.
Yep.
It doesn't hurt it, but you can get your repair done, and then you can make monthly payments on that repair to where it's more manageable instead of having a big chunk, and wondering, okay, well, I can fix the car, but how are we going to keep the lights on at the house?
Right.
There is options. Just ask,
Mm-hmm.
and we'd be more than glad to help any way that we can.
And there's no embarrassment with that, y'all.
Absolutely.
Okay,
not.
so we've been there and we understand. And there's times where we can say yes, and there's times where maybe that month it would have been a little too tight to do that. But back to the point of, we start to trust the process, that yes means there's 3 more yeses on the back end of it. And as soon as, like he said, the money's on the pedestal, like, no, we can only, you can't just have benevolence for everybody, and we're not, and that's not what he's saying. He's just saying that if there's a $1,300 bill, if it's a $3,600 bill, that could be put into increments, and it allows kind of a credit where he's getting the full payment, but you're not taking the full payment hit, and then you're paying it. Does that have interest involved in it, or is it?
There's different plans.
Okay.
You can kind of pick and choose what you want to do. If you want to spread it out for 3 months, 6 months, and I think there is a little bit of interest. The further you go out, there is
Increases.
interest. Yes, and but there's one option I think is interest free, and I'm not entirely sure. I haven't used it myself, but I've had a lot of customers who have, and everyone loves it. So.
Awesome. Well, that's another tidbit that I'm pretty sure the dealership isn't going to give you as an option. And again, this is where, yes, you have choice. I would definitely get at least 2 estimates with any type of major car things. I, to be honest, didn't go to get a second estimate because he crushed it so fast. It was go time. And I really don't want to spend the time trying to get some lower number when he got it lower in less than 2 hours without me having to do the legwork. That is the other part of this. And like you said, that's the technician part. Like you looked into it and got back to me.
I saw it as a challenge. I saw it as a challenge, and I wanted to fix the problem.
Yeah. And so if you feel like you have a car challenge, call Chase. If he can't fix it, he'll recommend somebody, or he knows somebody to come in and fix it with him. And that was my case. I needed a tag team kind of a deal. Both and I'm not surprised. Yeah, I do have some needs. I don't like to have them, but maintenance is not needy. Right? Is maintenance needy? It feels it. But it's not. This is just the thing. There's wear and tear. If you don't drive your car, then maybe you don't need as much maintenance. But if you don't drive your car, the engine's going to go, right?
Right.
So it needs to be driven. So we are happy to help you. Get in touch with us at the Whittle Walk if you have a problem like this. We are here to be problem solvers as well, but ultimately we want you to go on our website. We're going to continue to build the links to the resources. So you go to that favorites tab and you're going to see some of my favorite places to get help in this community. See you next time. Bye.